Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to just show you how I've been making my own homemade yogurt. I learned about this on Camaria's Kitchen YouTube channel. I came across it one day and I watched her make this Greek yogurt and I thought, wow, that looks very easy. And given the prices of groceries these days and how expensive it is, especially if you like to buy brand yogurt like the Fage or the Siggi's, I like both of those. And, at $6+ for a container of yogurt, it's getting very expensive. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try this. She showed you a method of doing this on the stovetop, and I decided, well, let me try this with my crock pot and see how this works. So we're going to give it a try. I've done this several times already. I know it works, but I'm going to just show you how to do it. I'm using lactose-free milk. You can use whatever milk you want. The one thing that I did learn is if you are not using ultra-pasteurized milk, you're going to need to heat this to 180 degrees for like at least 20 minutes. And if you're using ultra-pasteurized milk, it says it right here, ultra-pasteurized, I only need to heat this to about 120 degrees. And on my little crock pot, I've learned that an hour at high is just perfect at getting this at the right temperature. My crock pot will hold about 4 cups of milk comfortably, and I don't even measure anymore. I just put my milk in and get it up to about like this. Yeah, that's good. Just about like that. Okay, that's good for the milk. We don't need this anymore. And if you don't already have your yogurt made that you can take a couple of tablespoons from your previous batch to make the new batch, this kind of works just like sourdough bread where you need to have a starter and then you need to save a little bit of the starter and make the next batch. So it's very similar principle. You can just buy a small container of your favorite yogurt and use this as your starter. But I already have my yogurt made, so this is what's left over from my previous batch, and it's nice and thick and creamy. I'm going to just do this, put this on here. I'm going to turn this on high, just a reminder in 1 hour to come back, and I'll take the temperature of the milk, make sure it's between 115 and 120 degrees, and then we'll go on and do the next step. Okay, so it's been about 1 hour and 10 minutes, and I am going to check the temperature. Be somewhere between 110 and 120 degrees. We're just about 118 degrees, 119 degrees. I'm going to just set this aside for a second. So I'm just going to take my existing yogurt and put 2 tablespoons in here. There we go. And set this aside. And I'm going to take a ladle, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this warm milk in here. And then I'm going to stir this up. Just want to get the yogurt mixed in real good with milk. It's nice and creamy. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to pour this in here. I'm going to take my little whisk. I'm just going to whisk this up real good. Get that all mixed in. Just going to whisk this all up, get this all mixed in. Cover it. I'm going to take 2 of these towels and I'm going to pick up just the crock, which is the beauty of using this crock pot is I don't have to transfer this again or do anything with it. So I can take this and I'm just going to go ahead and put this in the oven. The oven won't be on. You don't even really need to keep the light on. I put the light on for just a little while to warm it up a little bit. But I'm going to put this in the oven for about 14 hours. I'm not going to disturb it. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to move it. I'm just going to leave it. For me, it'll be in the oven overnight. I'm just going to take this and we're just going to go ahead and put this right in here. Now what I'm going to want to do is just insulate it. And I've got 2 bigger towels. And I'm just going to take these and just drape them over this. And we're going to close this. And I'm going to shut the oven light off. And we're going to let that sit for about 14 hours. Okay, so it's really early in the morning, about 4:20. But 14 hours have gone by. Normally, I do this around 5 or 6 p.m. I get up pretty early, so 7 o'clock is about the normal time I would be doing this. But yesterday, we did it about 2, so it's 4. I'm up. So I've taken this out of the oven, and we can have a look and see. And as you can see, it has thickened up really nice. This is the part here where you decide, do you just want a like liquid yogurt, or would you prefer a Greek style yogurt? I'm going to make a Greek yogurt. That's the one that I've been making all along. I like it a little bit thicker, kind of like the consistent of the Fage or the Siggi's yogurt. That's what I like. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. What I figured out for me, what works is I bought this double strainer. So there's a pan here, and then this goes on the inside. It's stainless steel. And I put it in this 15.7 cup take-along, Rubbermaid take-along. And I set this in here. For me, this works really good for the size, the amount of yogurt that I'm making. This works great. What I do is, and there's several ways to do this, so you can just choose whatever works best for you. I take a paper towel and I put this down here. And then I use these little Chemex coffee filters because I have a Chemex. And I find that these are the perfect consistency for straining the whey out of the yogurt. So I just stick this guy down in here. There we go, like that. And then I dump this in. Now, if you don't want to do this, you could even just make yourself up a bowl and a strainer and use a plastic bowl cover if you would prefer something like this to cover it all. And I do that just so that it doesn't dry out too much in the refrigerator, okay? So this is how I'm doing it, so I'll just show you how this works. Okay, so we're going to take this, and I'm just going to let this just slide right out. And just keep the sides from folding in. There we go. And just scrape this. What I really like about the crock pot method is I don't have to keep stirring the milk when I'm heating it up. And it doesn't really leave a ring, or I don't get that skin on the top of the milk that I have to take off. So now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to let it strain in this bowl. And I just put it in this actually just for the fact that I want to cover it. And this little bowl is the perfect size for this little stainless steel container. I'll put a link to the stainless steel thing in the description if you want to take a look at it. I did order another method of a strainer, and it was plastic, and this just seems to really work well for me. I'm very happy with it, and I've made probably like 6 or 7 batches of yogurt with it and have been real happy. So then I just take this and I push that down, lock it up, and then this goes in the refrigerator for about 2 hours, and then I will drain the whey, and I'll do it again for another 2 hours, and then we'll check the consistency of the yogurt. You can make it as thick as you want, depending on how long you want to strain it for. And if it ends up being too thick, you could add a little of the whey back in and mix it in to get it to the consistency that you want. I have found that the 4 hours or so of straining produces a good enough consistency for me, somewhere between 4 and 6 hours. And then you just take it and put it in a separate bowl, and I'll show you that once we get to that point. But anyway, this is going in the refrigerator now, so it's kind of weird. You think, okay, this has been just sitting in the oven with the oven off, the light off for 14 hours. And your first instinct is to think, okay, that's going to go bad. It's milk. It's going to spoil. But it doesn't. It makes yogurt. In the refrigerator it goes, and I will check with you in a couple hours. Okay, it's been 2 hours, and I've taken this out of the fridge, and we can take a look at it and see if it's thickening up. And kind of. Not enough yet, though. But I'm going to taste it. Hi, Henry. A little sour. Just like yogurt should be. What? Okay. So what I'm going to do is just show you how much whey we've got in here. Now, you can save this and use it for lots of other things. And I'll put a link to a website that shows a bunch of things that you can do with whey besides tossing it out. You can even put it in your garden for making compost. I am going to just set this aside, drop this in, cover this up. This is going to go back in for another 2 hours, and then we'll check on it and see how it is. Okay, it's been about 2 more hours, and we're just going to check this and see how it's doing. And it is getting thicker, but it's still not thick enough for what I want. So I'm going to drain this, and I'm going to let it sit for another couple of hours. Yeah, it's pretty thick. I mean, it's not falling off the spoon. It's creamy at this point. It's good. It's a little tangy. And so let me cover that part about this. So what I read is that if your yogurt over time, when you're making another batch and another batch from the previous one, if you put too much of the yogurt in, or if it just gets old and you've over fermented it, that it could get a little bit more tangy. So if you want less tangy, you would reduce the bulk fermenting time, right? So less time in the oven sitting in there overnight. So maybe instead of 14 hours, you do 10 hours. Try it out and see how that works. What I'm going to do, though, is empty out. This is, whoop, we're spilling. That's about how much is in here now. Again, cover this up and just let it sit in here for another couple of hours. I actually have some errands to run, so it's probably going to be a little longer than I would like, but this is a good example of learning how to do it and judging the time you need in between and not getting always so caught up in everything has to be perfect and the timing has to be perfect and the measurements have to be perfect. Just make the yogurt and enjoy it. All right, we're back. It's been about 3 more hours because I was out running errands for a while. So anyway, just wanted to show you the final step. So I just dumped off the rest of the whey in here just a second ago, and you already know how that works. And then I just take this and I turn it over. And what I like about this filter is it makes it pretty easy to get the yogurt off. Just take a spatula and just run it down it. And you've got the yogurt. There we go. Not too much goes to waste. There. It's good. Okay, so I have a nice container of fresh yogurt, and then I can use this. I can use a tablespoon or so of whatever's left in here to make the next batch. And if you find that it gets too tangy, and I think I'm kind of close to that with this one, if you find it gets too tangy, there's a couple of things that you can try to do. One is to reduce the fermentation time. The other is to just start with a new batch, right? So go buy a little container of Fage or Siggi or whatever Greek yogurt you like, and as long as it's plain and it's got active cultures in it, and then just use a tablespoon or two of that to start your next batch. But it's way more cost effective than buying those $6 containers of yogurt every week, because the amount of milk that I used here was less than $2 worth of milk. So I think it's a good deal. There's lots of ways to use the whey that you do save from this. So I'll put a link, as I said, in the description of an article that kind of shows you all the different ways that you can use that. And with that, go out and make some yogurt yourself in this easy crock pot method. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.